cool car envy. We love nice cars. All right, so this promises to be interesting. What do we got going on, George?
Well, today we're talking about the realities of owning a 38-year-old car that sat in someone's backyard for 16 years. I mean, everybody wants to talk about the dream of it. They want to show pictures of it, go to car shows and all that stuff. That's great. But this is the reality. You're going to be fixing stuff. Like, you see the stuff back here? We got random things. I don't even know where this came from, but it goes to this car. We got belts.
Wow.
Rags, lots of rags. You're going to need lots of rags. You're going to need parts. You're going to need boxes and boxes of parts. Parts galore. You're going to need tools. You're going to need to carry oil. You're going to need to carry antifreeze. You're going to need to carry water. You're going to need to carry spare jacks. You're going to need to carry stuff like this. I mean, who even knows how to use something like this? But anyways, today we're actually working on a hose over here. Come on over this way.
Let's check it out. Love this car. What year is this Saab again, George?
This is a 1986 Saab 900 SPG.
Oh, hell yeah.
I am Inga from Sweden.
Beautiful. Pop that hood. Let's see how this hood works. Look at this, you guys.
That's just the beginning.
Wow. Yeah, look at that motor.
Take a look over here.
Let's see what we're looking at.
Here's the AC compressor. I got the belt off it now. The belt you saw in the back is actually for that.
Okay.
I changed the alternator the other day. And in doing so, we actually caused a problem with the hose that goes to the overflow tank from the water pump. So that's what we're actually going to be working on today.
All right.
As you can see, I've got a really terrible patch here. You should never, ever do anything like this unless you really need to. And I really needed to because it was Sunday night at midnight.
Yep. Don't do this at home, folks.
That's right. Do it in a random parking lot like we are right now.
I'll swing around the other side real quick.
All right, so for the next couple minutes, the audio gets a little choppy, so we went ahead and added some nice subtitles for you.
We're going to trim the smaller hose down to a smaller size, and then
Yeah, for sure, from Sweden.
we're going to take this piece that I pre-made. What I did was I got some of the hose the same diameter as what I need, and I took a steel nipple. This is a 3-inch long, 3/4 inch inlet steel nipple. We're going to trim this back, slide this bad boy on there, put the hose clamps on it, tighten it all down, put it back in place, and we're going to fill this up.
Smart.
All right.
Awesome.
I'm going to loosen this up. Let me get some tools going.
You guys, this is George. You guys know George.
We're going to use a razor knife for cutting the old hose. That way we do a good job and don't do any more damage than necessary. First thing we're going to do, loosen these up here. This one down here.
Good look at this.
Hose clamps are pretty loose. That should come loose. All right, now we're going to slide this back. There we go. Now, the other day when I had this off, I only filled this with water. So we don't have to worry about spilling anything on the ground. It's not going to look pretty, but we don't have to worry about it spilling because it's just water.
It's just funky water, guys. Relax. It's not anything.
This is, some people may call this the lazy man's engine flush. Get this one a little looser. See if we can get her to slide.
All right, so we got the vice grips out.
Get the vice grips out here. This clamp right here. What we do is make sure we got all 3 fingers there. She can be a little tricky from time to time.
I see what you mean.
Try a little more tension. You gotta be patient with it. And
it's a 38-year-old car. You know. This is par for the course.
Slide this actually down.
Nice
there we
move.
go. Okay, now this little twist, little shout. There we go. We are out of the way with that. Now, let's make sure that stays down there. Okay. What I'm actually going to do, slide this down here, and I'm going to slice this with the razor knife so we can show you the damage.
Oh, the original
that actually
damage.
happened. Yes.
Yeah. And you can even tell us how that happened if you want.
Well,
this car has a lot of stories just since you've owned it.
Oh yes. Okay. Be careful, don't go too deep, but you
Right.
want to go deep enough. Now
A little surgery
slide
here.
that over there. That's right.
Getting into the guts of the car.
Filleting the fish. Okay, I did wind up getting that other hose there a little bit. Don't worry about that. We're trimming that off anyhow.
That's right.
Okay.
Ah, I
Now you see we've got some bulging here.
Yeah, look at that.
And then right there
Oh boy.
actually was the main culprit. So now what we're gonna do, come back here and trim back just past there, and they will lock in.
You should have went to medical school, George.
All right. Just be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time. Don't rush. And if you feel like you're getting frustrated doing something, it feels like it's not working right, you're probably doing it wrong. So
Yeah.
sit down, watch one of Terry's videos.
There you go. Yeah. So we've got the new piece here that's rigged up.
Okay, I'm going to slide this hose clamp here. I'm going to open it up a little bit more. Actually, for this one, I think I have to swap to my 7mm, and I do. You notice these have slots in them for flathead screws.
Yeah. Why
Screwdrivers. The problem with using a flathead screwdriver is as you're turning, it cams out, spins out. And if you got your hand there, you'll stab yourself in the finger with the flathead screwdriver. It's terrible. It's a horrible plan. Find yourself some sockets, you know.
Yeah.
Stick them on there, 7mm, 8mm,
Boom.
1/4 inch. You know, they come in a bunch of different sizes. Don't ever expect them all to be the same. But, you know,
that eliminates the screwdriver. Yeah. Smart.
Just check what you're dealing with before you start.
Get a look at that.
I want to slide the new hose and the nipple into the old hose. Take my socket here. Let's set that down for a second. Take my ratchet here. Make sure I'm on tighten. There's nothing worse than loosening something up when you think you're tightening it. Tighten down a bit. Want to feel before you go too far where the end of the nipple is.
Right.
So right there looks pretty good. That gives me plenty of room. You just want to go just a little bit past there. That's good. Okay. Now, I'm going to slide this one on here, right into this. Make sure it goes all the way on.
Ooh.
Just like that. A little rib there lets you know you've made it far enough. Okay. Back to the 8mm. Push the ratchet over. Loosen this up a bit so it'll come up over the hump there. There we go. Switch back. Once again, before you go too tight, check and make sure you're all the way on. Make sure your hose clamp isn't just partially inserted.
Yeah.
You don't want the hose clamp just partially on the collar.
Yeah, you need
or the nipple, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You need it all the way on. You need actually a little bit of space, and you don't want it all the way at this very end either.
Makes sense, yeah. Little wiggle room on both sides, yep. Sweet. All right, so
the parts are installed.
Together.
I'm going to get some water. We're going to fill the tank. You always use distilled water in a radiator.
Yeah, why is that, by the way? I don't even know.
Well, spring water has minerals in it that are, some of them are heavy metals.
Okay.
You don't want them in your car.
Makes sense.
Purified drinking water has fluoride in it. You don't want that in your cooling system.
Right.
So distilled water,
yep,
basically like rain.
Yeah.
And you mix that. You're supposed to mix that 50-50 with antifreeze coolant, because antifreeze coolant does both jobs. It'll keep the water from boiling over. However, I'm going to be changing the radiator itself and the hose properly in a couple of days, so the water will be fine.
Yeah, and it's the middle of June, so it's not going to freeze. The radiator, that's next. She's next.
Go ahead. Pour it all in there. Listen to her take it.
So you're losing fluid when this leak sprung?
Well, we caused this leak here while we were changing the alternator.
Oh, right.
Because we were bending the hose back and forth.
Yeah. Was that was some old hose too, right?
Yes, this is the original date code on it of 1085, which is October of 1985.
Yeah.
All the other hoses so far that I've replaced also still had the original date code on them.
Wow.
The belts were new. Let's double check them because I put them on. We actually wound up having an issue with the tensioner for the alternator. It was seized in there. The tensioner bolt was seized in there.
Yeah.
So what we did was just a grade 8 bolt, a washer.
Yeah.
Just tighten it down as tight as we could.
So you don't need the tensioner. You just bypass the tensioner pretty much.
Yep.
Yep.
Now there's a trick to when you're trying to make sure you get your radiator full all the way, because you can get air bubbles in there and that'll cause a problem.
Okay. What's the trick?
The trick is what I'm doing right here, just squeezing one of the hoses. Make sure it's a good hose. Don't squeeze an old hose.
Right. Yep. Right. Then we're going to have to do this all over again.
So what you do is you do that while you get this open and you watch for any air bubbles to come up. You're going to see some movement. If you come over here,
Let's check it out.
point the camera down in here. I'll switch places with you.
So we're looking right in there. Let's
Just go ahead and look. You got a good focus?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, here.
Oh yeah, the water's moving. Yep.
You do that a
Definitely
few times.
moving around.
You see any air bubbles come up out of there?
Cool.
It's not going to get every single one of them if the radiator was empty, but we're only empty from here down, so that shouldn't be an issue. Just whatever was in the hose behind the water pump.
Yeah. Smart. This is just years and years of practice and experience.
Yes, I've had lots of junk cars. All right. Now let's get this vacuum hose here. This is to the brake booster. This is a kind of an important hose here. All right, let's get these vice grips, see if they'll cooperate. Actually, let's get that back on there first. Do it the easy way.
So brake fluid runs through that hose?
No, this is a vacuum for the booster. The brake fluid goes through the master cylinder. Okay. And what this does is it's kind of like an amplifier.
Yeah. Okay, so it just gives it more air.
Yeah. The air helps to push the rod.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is inside of this shaft under the master cylinder. And so this takes your pedal pressure and amplifies it or boosts it.
Right.
And then so that way you get a lot more push on this end.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. Nitty gritty. We are getting in there deep. This is Saab life right here.
Okay. We are on and in place.
Nice. Look at all that. Nice.
Now, when you have an old car like this, here's how you put your tools away. You keep them out. You put them away in the back, but you keep them out.
Makes sense.
That way you don't, because as soon as you put them away in the box and everything's neat and tidy, and something else is going to break, and you're going to need the very bottom one that you threw in there.
Of course.
Just leave them out like that.
Out. Yep. Remind our viewers how many years this car sat and what was going on while it was sitting.
This car sat for 16 years in the backyard.
Right.
And the sunroof was actually open just ever so slightly. And by ever so slightly, I mean about an inch.
Yeah. Ooh.
And
not good.
It's got the rain guard up here that stopped most of the water from getting in, but it drops down and slides back, which allows the water in through back here.
Yeah.
Pine needles, pine cones, acorns, you name it. Whatever could fall in that hole got in that hole.
Yep.
Water got in, and the whole headliner was completely just nasty, disgusting, moldy. I had to remove
16 years.
I had to remove the headliner.
Yeah, original plywood, original wood
Yes,
of the
it's a
car
piece
right
of
here.
plywood.
Look at that, you guys.
I had to remove the wool type material because it also had mold in it.
Yeah,
So this is still original. This piece right here actually belongs here.
yeah. Oh, that piece belongs there.
Yeah, it belongs here. But
Yeah,
this box full of what seems like random junk is parts that belong in here and other things.
yeah, it's so cool. And of course, the rims you threw on. Hell of a car.
The original owner drove it from 1987
Right.
until 2000. His son took over driving it from 2000 until 2008. In fact, let's clean this here. You can see the sticker from the last Jiffy Lube oil change.
Any other interesting tidbits or stories you want to tell us about this car?
The reason I settled on these rims here, when I bought the car, the trailer I was using to bring it back had side rails on it, come up to about here, and I couldn't open the door.
Right.
And normally I just put the window down and go Dukes of Hazzard style because it's more fun.
Sure.
However, this was like December 29th and rainy and kind of sleet. I didn't want to leave the window down.
Yeah.
I went out the back.
Right.
While going out the back, climbing through the back seat, I found a Lego brick.
Okay.
A red Lego brick with 10 little dots on top of it.
Interesting.
The gentleman who sold me the car told me the story about how his kids play with Legos in the back seat. So he asked if he could have it back. And I said, absolutely.
Cool.
And so he told me that one of his kids, his daughter actually, would ride in the back seat on her, and he would drive her from Connecticut up to Boston because she had leukemia.
Okay.
Now she survived. She's got kids of her own, so
Beautiful.
that's good.
Happy story.
But that one red Lego that I found,
Yeah.
I was going through rims and I came across a red set of rims with 10 spokes. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to honor that.
It's an omen. That's an omen. Yeah. That's really cool. I love that story. And the Lego itself meant so much to the guy that got it back in his hands after
Oh yes,
all those
oh
years.
my goodness, he was so happy
I
when
bet.
like he literally asked, could he please have that? Because
Yeah.
he saw the smile on my face when I found a Lego. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy.
George is like, yeah, you can have it, $20. So it had 10 prongs, and you ended up just happened to stumble upon these rims with 10 spokes.
Well, I wasn't looking for 10 spokes. I wasn't looking for red. Actually,
Right.
I was thinking about green rims.
Yeah, yeah,
The only green rims I found were like Monster Energy drink green, like that lime green.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not for
yeah.
me. I'm more of an emerald green.
yeah.
So
I would have gone with that, but no, I hear you. I think the red is perfect.
I found a set of green ones that I liked the look of.
Right.
And I was like, well, maybe they have different shades of green. And I scrolled down. The very first ones that popped up was the red ones. I was like, yeah, those would look good. And I instantly
Definitely.
remembered the Lego
Yep.
and the story. So it was
That
right,
sealed the
right
deal.
then and there. It
Yeah.
was buy it now.
Yep. Like that's done. This was meant to be. Yep. And look at it. I mean, obviously it was meant to be.
Yeah, stay tuned for more things that break. I mean, we didn't think to make a video a few weeks back when the fuel line went out and it was sitting on pallets.
Yeah.
Sitting on pallets, literally.
So sketchy. It was sitting out here for a few days.
On pallets. There was some rust in the floor pans that I fixed.
Yeah, right. That's
And
true, yeah.
one of them yielded me $78 in loose change under the carpet.
Sweet. $78.
And some foreign coins.
Wow. That's a hell of a lot of change.
It is.
Wow.
I mean, there was a hole in the floor, so who knows how much change fell out over the years.
That's true. Probably a lot more. It's all over the highway. Such a cool car. Where'd you get it again? What state did it come from?
Connecticut.
Okay. Bring a trailer?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome story. Alright, so if you guys like what you see, if you like George and his Saab, let YouTube know by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you on the next one. You're watching Cool Car Envy.